the Black Stars, who are actually 26 players have been selected. They will battle the Central African Republic in Kumasi on the 10th of June. But before then, they will be away to the Central African Republic as well. But interestingly, there is no place for Dede Ayew under Coach Otto Addo's new team. The likes of Asante Kotoko goalkeeper Freddy Kasari is the only home-based player there. There's Jordan Ayew there, Alexander Diku from Fenerbahce, and Thomas Partey returns to the squad as the new captain of the team. And of course, there is always a place for a player as talented as Mohammed Kudus. But is this... I'm just hoping that Dede Ayew is not being used as a scapegoat for Ghana's woes of the recent past, but it's just a question of just a clean slate and trying to move on.
Yeah, it's a new manager coming in for his second stint, Otto Addo, and probably wants to start afresh. Based on merit, I think Dede should be aggrieved that he's not here, because I'm looking at his body of work from French Liga. He had a wonderful season at Le Havre. That's Dede Ayew. His experience has been really good for them. So I'm really surprised that Otto Addo didn't consider that, especially them being not in a good position on the table. They're fourth.
Yeah. Just sorry to cut you short, but we have Yaw Ofosu on the line with us. Yaw is a sports journalist in Ghana with the media group and also a correspondent for the VOA. Yaw, thank you so much for joining us. We've been looking at this new Black Star squad, and conspicuously missing is Dede Ayew. And I was asking Wale, I hope he's not being made a scapegoat for the recent troubles of the Ghanaian national team.
To be very honest with you, Andre should have seen the exits some 2 years ago. He's really just lucky that it has come. It's really just lucky that it has come at this point. And because when you look at him, I mean, I don't think that he gives Ghana what the team really needs when it comes to creating chances, making sure that Ghana wins matches. And so I honestly don't think that it's a problem for any. I don't think that there are many Ghanaians who are really aggrieved about this decision. I think if for anything, a lot of them are just, quite excited about a decision like this. Many Ghanaians are actually on Otto Addo's side. And so I really don't think that it should be a problem going forward, really.
Well, talking about Otto Addo himself, this is his second stint as Black Stars manager as well. Also taking over a team that hasn't done well in the last few years as well. Bundled out of their last Africa Cup of Nations as well. Currently fourth, I believe, in their qualifying group for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Lost to Comoros as well. Is he start? Can this get better? That's all I'm going to ask. Can it get better for Ghana?
So another thing that I'm sure maybe you guys have forgotten is that Ghana has not won a match this year. So the whole year, there's just been losses and draws that Ghana has had. And going to Mali is always a tough one. The thing is that when Otto Addo sat at the press conference yesterday, the main thing he said was that he wanted discipline from his players. And it begs the question that where has that discipline gone in the last 2 years? Because when he left after the World Cup in 2022, it felt like the Black Stars were building something really good. Then 2023 came and everything looked like it wasn't going to work anymore. And then the AFCON under Chris Hughton was very bad. And so he has called for discipline, number one. He says he wants to play good football. I think the most glaring thing he said at the press conference that had many people worried was that he said that he cannot guarantee victories, but he can guarantee good football. And I'm thinking, I mean, if you're Ghana, what would you want? Would you want, good football, or would you want victories? I have seen my country play a lot of good football over the last few years, but in about 2 or 3 years, or the last 4 years, it hasn't gone that way. Ghana hasn't played the best football in the last 2-3 years. So I would really want to see the Black Stars play some good football. I think the last time we played really good football was under Otto Addo really at the World Cup. And so for him to promise good football, I'm quite optimistic that I can see that. But he has to promise victories too, because for a country that has not won a game in 2024, you expect that victories should be on his radar. But exactly. It should be the major priority for him. And so that's why I am worried that he says that he cannot guarantee victories for the Black Stars. But hopefully the Mali game sets the tone for what we should expect in the in the coming years for Ghana. Now, for Ghana lying fourth...
You're an optimistic fellow. Mali in Bamako is never easy. But Wale has a question for you.
It's never easy. I agree that it's never easy. And looking at Ghana's form going into a game like this, it's not going to be easy. If you look at the squad, this is a fairly young squad. I mean, look at the likes of Ibrahim Osman. The first time Ibrahim Osman played for Ghana was in Marrakesh. Players like Enes Nyama, although they are not, they're not that young, or they're not that inexperienced. They are still inexperienced when it comes to national team level. And so players like Nyama, players like Osman Bukari have not played so much. We've brought in a new striker from West Bromwich Albion, Brandon Asante, who has not played football for Ghana at all. Tariq Lamptey only played at the World Cup and has not played anymore. I'm looking through the squad, and I can't really tell how Otto Addo is going to make it in Bamako. But, he says that he wants Ghana to play good football, one, and then there's discipline. And so that should be...
that should be the basis or foundation for some kind of progress.
For what should happen in Mali. Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to quickly ask you where the Ghanaian press, where they stand on the lack of local talent in the squad. It's something we've also been dealing with here in Nigeria. We've called for players from the NPFL to be in the squad, and good enough, Victor Osimhen dropped out, and guess what? Finidi calls up a left back from Enugu Rangers. But you look at the Ghanaian squad, just one local talent, that's goalkeeper Frederick Asari. And I know that John Antu is playing some good stuff at Dreams FC, especially in the CAF Confederation Cup. There's the Samatex guy, Kede. So what's the Ghanaian press saying about the lack of local talents in the squad?
So that was one of the questions that was asked at the press conference yesterday. And Otto conceded that he hasn't watched too much of the Ghana Premier League. After he was named coach, he had been outside of Ghana in Germany, and he just came to Ghana on Monday to start work properly. And so he hasn't particularly watched the local league. And so that was his excuse, that because he has not watched the local league, he hasn't seen any of the players properly to make sure that they get into his Black Star squad. So going forward, he's going to watch the league a bit more and try to pick a few players from there. And he actually said that that is the only pressure he's feeling from the Ghanaian press and also from the Ghana Football Association. The fact that he has to bring local players into the squad, and not the fact that he decided to leave Andrew Ayew out of the squad. Because a lot of people were asking him if that is what is potentially going to put pressure on him. But he says that leaving Andrew Ayew out of the squad is not something that will put pressure on him at all.
So,
the local players who are not in the squad are what should worry him a bit.
Finally, before we go, talk about pressure. Is there pressure on Mohammed Kudus? He seems to be the new talisman of Ghanaian football. In the mold of the likes of Michael Essien, Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah. Is he the new poster boy, the new talisman of Ghanaian football? And is there pressure on him to deliver?
I think he is. Everybody who watches Ghana knows that Mohammed Kudus is the poster boy. And I think for many of us, when you look at the Black Stars and you look at how they play, and I feel like it is one of the reasons why Otto Addo has decided to go forward with the younger players, because he needs to build a team around someone that he can trust. And I think that Mohammed Kudus is who he wants to build the team around. And if you look at him, every time you speak to Mohammed Kudus, especially about Ghana, he always says he wants to win something for Ghana. He wants to win the AFCON for Ghana, or win anything that would be at stake for Ghana to play in. And so I feel like there's a bit of pressure on him to try to show what he has for Ghana more than he shows it out there at West Ham or wherever he plays. Now, I think that already he's done a bit of it. 26 caps, 13 goals. That's technically 2 goals, 1 game. One goal every two games. Yes, which is particularly good. And so I think that going forward, he should do better than he's doing. But yes, there's a bit of pressure on him to perform, particularly for Ghana. Thank you very much, Yaw Ofosu. You've been very kind enough to pretty much break down the future, the present and future of Ghanaian football for us. We appreciate that. Thank you so much, Yaw. We'll be talking to you in the subsequent weeks as well. No problem, sir.